Good morning. I would like to call this meeting to order, and I'll be making the following statement. I would like to begin by acknowledging that we are in Treaty 1 territory and the traditional homeland of the Métis Nation. My name is Brent McIntyre, and I'll be the chair this morning, and to my left is Linda McFadden. We will be hearing applications for revision of the assessment roll in accordance with the Municipal Assessment Act. The matters for which revision is requested have been described in each application, and we will limit discussion to those matters. The statements that applicants or the assessor make at this hearing are sworn testimony, and anyone speaking to the matters must be sworn in. Please be advised that comparisons of assessment of properties are not considered evidence of market value by the Board of Revision. The Board of Revision is appointed annually by Council and is independent of it and the City Administration. It makes its decisions on the basis of the evidence provided at this hearing and issues a written order that will be mailed to all parties as soon as possible. Please note that the Board's decisions with respect to an application may be appealed to the Manitoba Municipal Board if the matter pertains to assessed value or classification, or to the Court of Queen's Bench if the matter pertains to the application of exemptions from taxation. Should you wish to appeal, information on how to do so will be included with the Board's order. With respect to the hearing process, I will confirm the matters to be addressed with each applicant following the swearing in. We will then have the assessor's testimony followed by questions that the applicant may have, and then the applicant's testimony followed by questions. Each side will have an opportunity to summarize if they wish. Once all of the evidence about an application has been brought forward, the applicant may leave. The process will repeat for each item on the docket today. The session will close after all the applications have been heard, and the Board will deliberate in private and make its decisions. You will receive the order by registered mail as soon as possible. As information, all public hearings are live streamed, recorded, and will be part of the public record. And may I ask you to turn off your cell phones if you have them on? Thank you. The first item on the docket is 27 Dawson Road.
Would you like to swear in?
I'll swear.
Could you please state your name?
David Frolick.
And do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. And do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you.
And Mr. Frolick, you may proceed.
File number is 194050. Roll number is 0605-154-2000. Address is 27 Dawson Road North. Assessed value that we have is $155,000. As a part of another property, I'd like the assessment to be confirmed at $155,000.
And Mr. Sifkowski?
We agree with that assessment.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is 599 Jarvis.
Would you like to swear in?
Yes.
Would you please state your name?
Kenneth Thomas Leslie.
And do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
File number is 191674. Roll number is 1400235700. Address is 599 Jarvis. Owner is Santorini Dairies Incorporated. Value that we have for this property is $77,000. Property type is a storage compound. Zoning is M2. Land area is 7,360. We do have the sales history for this property is that we have a sworn consideration sale of $51,500 in 2012, and also in 2006 for $13,000. This is strictly a land sale comparable, and what we'll do is I'll go through my sales on my comparables on page 3 and pictures on the remaining of the document. So what we have here is we have four properties. One on Mead, one on Higgins, one on Jarvis, one on Selkirk. One of them is a storage compound. The other two are vacant commercial and vacant industrial. The size, the areas range in size from 3,149 to 44,130. Zoning is mostly multiple use, with the last one being a C2 commercial, and there are the land influences there. We have sales that show from, for the first sale in comparable one, it sold for $440,000 at $9.97 a square foot. We have 221 Higgins at $525,000 at $26.48. We have 657 Jarvis sold for, which is 14,647 square feet, and that one sold at $105,000, works up to $717. And we have a Selkirk Avenue property that was 3,149 square feet, and that one sold for $39,000 with an average of $12.38 a square foot. The model rent that we used is $10.46 a square foot. And the following on page 4 is where my comparables are. Comparable ones in the inferior location to the subject property, behind Higgins, on a little side street. Comparable 2 is on Higgins, which is a more desirable property. Comparable 3 is similar to the subject property in terms of location, both being on Jarvis Avenue, just a different cross street, being, I do believe it's Sinclair. Get my glasses here. No, it's Mackenzie. It's Mackenzie. And the last comparable I have is the one on Selkirk Avenue between Main Street and King Street. That concludes my formal presentation.
Thank you. Any questions?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Frolich, would you say that comparable number 3 is the best comparable to the subject property?
Yes, I would.
Those are my questions.
Linda?
I have no further questions.
That was my question, so beginning the presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Page 10 of my brief is an excerpt of the form of offer. The property was purchased in 2014 by the registered owner for $50,000. You're probably not seeing registration of land titles because this was a sale by the receiver and there would have been a vesting order. I had suggested in my submission that the property should be assessed at $50,000, but if I use Mr. Frolich's comparable, the best comparable at $7.17 per square foot, and multiply that by we agree on the land area of 7,360 square feet, I get a value of $52,771, and so I would submit that a fair and reasonable estimate of the assessed value for 2020 should be $53,000.
Thank you. Any questions?
Yeah, and just in terms of the sale, it was a receivership sale? Is it so it went out of business, or the dairy?
The dairy, Santorina Dairies, was operated by a company called White Shell.
Okay.
And Santorina purchased the dairy and the subject property.
Okay. And would you make an adjustment with regards to bringing it up to an April 1st, 2018 sale price for the reference here? Because the sale that you're using is almost a year before that, or 9 months before that?
No.
No? Okay. No other questions?
Linda?
Is it in fact adjusted to a certain extent anyway? The sale was 50,000 and you're saying 53 is what you're asking for, so is there
Yes.
an increase? Okay. Thank you, that's all my questions.
And I have no questions. So that concludes this matter.
Thank you.
Do you swear to to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you.
I'll just try to slow it like
File number is 193640. Roll number is 130954-06000. Address is 1495 Brookside Boulevard, Paul's Hauling. 2020 assessed value that we have is $314,000. We have the property type listed as a storage compound. Built in 2005. Zoning is M2, and we have a land area of 40,206. On page 2, we have just an overview. So it's essentially a storage compound with regards to fuel units. The bottom of page 2 shows where it's located on Brookside Boulevard, off Ullman's Creek. And on page 3 gives you more of a macro picture of where it is in terms of the area. The major thoroughfare running north-south is Route 90 or Oak Point Highway. Then you have Logan, is the major cross street to the south. Inkster would be the major cross street to the north. And you can see the location almost 1/3 down the page on the left-hand side. What we have here for a value is, because we have the asset there of the holding pump, the holding tank, whatever, we have the assessed value of $113,000 for that. And we have a land value of $201,000. $201,000 divided by the 40,206 works out to $5 a square foot. Page 5 gives us some more information with regards to what NCA it is, what type of property it is, and the land area and the influences that take place there. Bottom of page 5 show where my comparables are. So first comparables on Logan Avenue. 2020 Logan, we have 11,537 square feet there. It sold in October of 2014 for $225,000 at $19.50 a square foot. Next comparable, and then what we'll do is then I'll show you, turn it over to page 6, so you can see where it's located at. So it's literally right at the corner of the Logan and Route 90. And the great landmark is where the Shell gas station is, across the street from it. So that's where it's just located at. Comparable 2 is 30 Hyde Park. Also an Oak Point Highway. It's vacant industrial. We have 22,240 square feet here. It sold in November of 2016 for $180,000, which works out to $8.09 a square foot. Next comparable we have is 425 Oak Point Highway. And on page 2, you can actually see where the Hyde Park is located at. So it's just off Route 90 in King Edward. That's on page 6. Comparable number 3 is at 425 Oak Point Highway. We have 139,857 square feet. It sold for $1.9 million at $13.59 a square foot. And top of page 7 shows where that property is located at. Also off Route 90. And comparable number 4 is vacant industrial on Innsbrook. It's a bit larger in land size. It's 91,725. It sold in July of 2015 for $425,000 at $4.63 a square foot. Bear in mind, this property is almost 3 years away from the reference date. It's similar to the subject property in terms of location and traffic, because there's light traffic on the Innsbrook property compared to the heavy traffic that would have been on comparable 1 and 3. And comparable 2 is a low traffic area as well, but it's just sort of like off, off Route 90 as well. So the thing to realize is that we're using $5 a square foot here. We have the Innsbruck property, which is most similar to the subject property, at 463, three years away from the reference date. And the other ones are much higher, so if we're looking at comparables, you know, I feel most comfortable by using the comparable property here at number 4 at 463. Bear in mind it is larger than the subject property. Page 8 shows how we figured out the property in terms of the valuation for the property in terms of cost. So essentially it's $113,000 with regards to the cost approach and depreciated with regards to the tanks and the fence. That concludes my formal presentation.
Thank you. Questions?
Do you know what size the tank is, or
Yeah,
what the depreciation is, or
well,
do they get a fixed depreciation?
yeah, it's well,
Okay, I see on
it's
page
80%, yeah.
Okay, I see that. Wait, and you talk about the one in Innsbruck. That was developed as an industrial park, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's all the questions I have.
Thank you. Linda?
I have no further questions.
And I have no questions.
Actually, Mr. Chairman, you know what, I didn't have a value for the tank. Oh, we didn't have any records of it before, so
Okay.
I'm just gonna ask for confirmation.
Okay.
All the records I had in the past, it didn't show any building value for the
Okay.
tank. So I was thinking going, I asked people that done it before, and they didn't know for sure, so the $5 to start.
And the next one is 6011 Rana.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, we appeal liability in this one as well,
Oh, I see that.
but there's quite a few pages of the reason why, but we're not pursuing it, so we'll withdraw the liability and just be valid.
This time?
Given you the first one.
Yeah. There is something in the legislation in an old bylaw where hydro lands are not supposed to be taxed, like they're exempt by grant, so they still pay taxes on the value they have. But there was something in an old bylaw that says they shouldn't pay taxes at all.
Yeah, I'm aware of that.
You're aware of that, but we're not pursuing it at this time.
So you're withdrawing liability and classification?
Yes, so just be quiet.
I can fill out the top.
But if it's money paid, it's money paid, so what would be the difference be in terms of liability? It's just,
Well, the old act says there would be no money paid.
okay.
So it'd be exempt, but not granted. It'd just
Okay.
be Total exempt, so that's the main difference.
Okay. Are other ones in the pipeline going to be like that too, or
Pardon me?
are other transformer stations going to be like that as well, or?
You know what, this is, I'm not the lead on this one.
Okay.
It's-
No problem.
there's
Sorry.
some Discussion with Hydro on it.
Yeah, right.
We've been on it.
We were on one that time.
Okay.
With Mr. Slaughter or Mr. Narvell?
It was from the previous cycle.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And I can't remember who the agent was, but
Okay,
it's the same issue.
yep.
File number is 193154. Roll number is 01004074,000. Address is 6011 Ronick Avenue. And the owner is Manitoba Hydroelectric Board. For 2020, we have assessed value of $798,000. The land area that we have for this property is 50,988. It's also a storage compound. So this property here is a hydro station, which is on the corner of Rannoch and Municipal in Charleswood. Pictures state where it is evidently. Page 3 shows where the location is, located in Charleswood. And if you know anything about the Charleswood area, on Rannoch Avenue, there's a couple schools. There's also a community club on there. What we have here is for the depreciated cost of the structure. We have $3,000 for and we have $795,000 for the total land. And I didn't mention the zoning, but the zoning is R1L res, bus route, external corner, traffic. For the detached structure, we just have the cost of the fence and the majority of the values of the land. So what I've tried to do is I've tried to find comparables that are, you know, it was unique because I picked vacant residential 2, and then I also took one storage compound unit as well. So the first comparable I have is on Roblin Boulevard. It's 182,592 square feet. It's vacant res 2. Res multifamily, it's they say it's high heavy traffic, but if you look at the location of it on page 7, the Roblin address is actually a very, very small portion of the frontage area, and the majority of the lots on the back side. So for that property here, that sold in May of 2016, it sold for $2.5 million, and sale price per square foot was $13.69. Comparable number 2 is on Liebel, in the bottom of page 7 shows a bigger picture of it as well. There's actually very limited access off Roblin. Comparable number 2 is on Lee Boulevard, between Waverly and Barnes. And what I've done here for the 2 pictures here is I've shown how it was before and how it's been redeveloped into multifamily. What we have here for Lee Boulevard property on comparable number 2, we have a land area of 65,025 square feet. It's pucked as vacant res 2. Zoning is RMFS, multifamily. And it sold for $1.5 million, which worked out to $23.07 a square foot. Comparable number 3 is in Bridgewater, 235 Bridgeland Drive, also zoned VRES 2. It is 84,681 square feet. It sold for $770,000 in June of 2012 at $9.10 a square foot. It's significantly far away from the subject property, but I wanted to choose properties that had potential for either multifamily or for commercial development. So when I looked at comparable number 1, it had tremendous opportunity for commercial development in terms of multifamily apartments. We've seen what has happened in 1261 Lee Boulevard. And comparable number 3 on Bridgewater, same sort of situation. It was a vacant parcel of land. It became multifamily. So when we're looking at that $9.10, that sale's almost 6 years away from the reference date of April 1st, 2018. And we got to factor in, we know that land prices haven't gone down, especially in a desirable area like Bridgewater. So if we bring that up, factoring inflation factors, I think it's very close to the subject property at $15.59 a square foot. Comparable number 4, I've mentioned it before, it's the one on 20 Mead. It's in Point Douglas, and the reason why I chose this property is these ones aren't in the southwest quadrant, but this one is also pucked as being an inventory warehouse storage compound. In April of 2014, it sold for $450,000, which works out to $10.20 a square foot. It's located in the inner city, and the location is not the same sort of desirability in terms of traffic location as some of my other properties that I've used here. And on the side of the very last line on page 6 shows the subject property and some of the details with regards to the valuation process for the land that we've had there. That concludes my formal presentation.
Thank you. Mr. Becker?
Yes, I have a few questions, Mr. Chairman. Wait, so the subject is Res 1, 1L?
Yep.
So that's not high density like multifamily?
No, it's not, but almost all the properties that are in the Charleswood area are actually zoned that same way. And in terms of infill housing and potential development, I think that would be a candidate if the hydro transformer wasn't there. I think there would be potential there for a multifamily unit.
For a multifamily unit?
Yeah, like for maybe a 3-story walk-up.
You'd have to get a rezone instead of...
Yeah, but there's been a lot of situations where properties have been rezoned.
Okay, if I look at your page 7, that's your first comparison on Roblin.
Yep.
You say that I see the entranceway there, but is that not a prime location when you have forest on one side, you're close to the river, you're set back from the highway, from the main line? Would that not be perfect for a multifamily or condo use?
Yeah, there's definitely potential for that, but it's also 2 years away from the reference date.
Okay, the next one, comparable number 2 on page 8. You show that it looks like it's been developed with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 multi-story, multifamily
Yep.
buildings. You wouldn't be able to put that on the subject property, would you?
You wouldn't be able to put as many, but you would be able to put an apartment block on it, because there's a lot of situations that have taken place. Like I think of all the infill apartment blocks being done on Henderson Highway, and because what's important about this property here on Rannoch is that it has schools in the neighborhood, it has community clubs in the neighborhood, it has bus services in the neighborhood. I think in that regards, it would be a prime candidate for that if the transformer wasn't there.
All the houses around this are fairly large, around the subject are large, single-family lots, correct?
Yes.
You think that it would be easy for them to get multifamily put in there, 3 or 4-story apartments in that little area?
Well, there's areas in River Heights where there have been opposition for apartment blocks, and the apartment blocks have come into those areas as well, so I don't think it's not possible.
Okay, do you think, your comparison on Bridgewater, that one was developed with quite a large multifamily project?
Yep.
Brand new area? Yes?
Yes, sorry.
And the last one on Higgins, or Mead, I guess you called it.
Yep.
Do you think you'd be able to put a big commercial building like that?
No, and the reason why I chose that one is that because it had the same puck as the subject property. So that's the only reason why I chose that,
The puck is what? Puck?
The inventory warehouse storage compound,
But the zoning is M, which is considerably...
manufacturing,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
So it's,
Okay.
try to find the best you got.
Yeah, no, wait, I have no further questions. Thank you.
First, comparable where you're talking about multifamily development, is it not the case that all of them are much more adjacent to large through-traffic streets than the subject property? The subject property is right dead in the middle of a very residential area.
Yeah, but the key component of that, though, is when I'm looking at the property on Rannoch, is that there is a bus service, and it is a major thoroughfare. It's sort of like Springfield or Rothesay in North Kelowna. There's a lot of traffic that goes down Rannoch, because there's a lot of traffic that goes down, in Rothesay. It's not a major thoroughfare in terms of like Roblin, Grant, Portage, but for Charleswood, Rannoch's important thoroughfare.
Right, but being right in the middle of the residential like that, would you not see the opposition to multifamily being fairly high?
Oh, there's always opposition to multifamily.
Yeah.
No, it's NIMBY, right?
Okay, thank you.
I just have one question. So if it's zoned residential 1, correct?
Yep.
And Charleswood is known to have large residential lots.
Yes.
Were there any vacant land sales of our Res 1 lots in Charleswood?
There's one that Mr. Becker has, but these are the ones that I chose to use.
Okay, thank you. That's all my questions. You're on, Mr. Becker.
Okay, page 2 of my presentation shows just the for the subject property. Where I've got the requested assessment of 183, I'd like to change that to 186. Because I never added any value for the fencing. So that's 186 actually that I'm requesting. And now I'll go to the reason why. Page 5, like as mentioned, also like that. This is right in the middle of a bunch of single-family homes. If you look at the shots I've shown there, and I could have expanded it or shrunk it, it's all single-family dwellings in the area. And the subject does have access off Berkeley, which is a little strange because it does have frontage on Rannoch and Municipal. Now to my sales on page 7. Now the first one I have is 150 Bonaventure. Now the picture of that one is on the top of page 8. That one sold in December 17 for $6.37 a square foot. You can see it's an odd shape, it's on a bay, and that has been developed with a single family home. It's approximately half the size of the subject property. The next one, number 2, is similar in size to the subject, but it's long and narrow, and it's still vacant residential land. And this is off of Pembina Highway, and it backs onto the LaSalle River on page 8. Number 3, that's the top. The picture is the top of page 9. This is in Templeton. This one is larger than the subject, but it's long and narrow, and it's still vacant residential land. And then the last one, number 4, this one is on, well, you get access to it off of Berkeley. So it's in the Charleswood area. And then the site plan is at the bottom of page 9. And it's a nice shaped lot, and there is access off of Berkeley. It doesn't belong to the subject, but it's also doesn't have a roll number or an assessment, so it's part of the roadway. And that one sold in March of 17 for $1.55 a square foot, and that's zoned R120, and it is slightly up. It's almost double the size of the subject property. So I could ask the board to turn to page 10. Based on those sales, the best comparison is number 4, but it is considerably larger than the subject and sold in March of 17. Based on the date of the sale and the size, we will use a square foot rate of $350 for the subject, which works out to a rounded value of $183,000 plus $3,000 for the fencing, is a value of $186,000. And that's my presentation.
Is there much developmental potential for property number 1 other than a residential home?
No. No, it's been developed as a single-family home.
Okay. And what's the status of comparables 2 and 3?
Number 2 is still vacant, and number 3 is still vacant.
Okay. Would there be any sort of potential for anything there other than a house?
The one on Pembina Highway, I'm not sure. I'm not sure of that one. I don't think I have the frontage on that one.
Okay.
And the one on Templeton, that area on Pipeline, that's been developed with a lot of single family, and they've started to build townhouses in there. So they have potential for townhouses, but again, I didn't put in the frontage, so I'm not sure.
Okay. And for comparable number 4, would you say it's inferior to the subject property?
Inferior?
Inferior.
No,
In terms of location?
No, I think the location is great. It's right in the middle of a residential area. It's a nice rectangular lot. It has good access off of Berkeley. To me, I'm surprised it's still vacant.
But in terms of location, in terms of traffic and services like sort of the schools and community clubs?
You know, I never looked at that, but this is an old residential area, so I'm sure there's community clubs and schools in the area.
And has anything been developed there yet?
No, it's still vacant.
No
But
further
it's still
questions.
assessed as vacant land, so.
Thank you. Linda?
I have no further questions.
I have one. The assessor shows on his brief the land area to be 50,988, and you're showing 52,272.
Yes, I would have taken that off of the last time we did the assessment. Or I've taken it to the 1.2 acres or something, and just. apply.
Divided it,
Yeah,
yeah.
Okay, that was all my questions.
yeah, well, that's what I'm sure it is. I don't think we've done this one before, so I just.
No,
put that
2002, I think, Doug.
Oh, okay, so I just took 1.2 times 43,560.
Thank you, that concludes this one. And the last one is 17 Spears Road.
File number is 192833. Phone number is 06032-431000. Address is 17 Spears Road. Owner's master feed, and we have assessed value of $2,004,000 for this property. Property type is industrial grain elevator. 1 to 2 stories. The effective years built for this property is between 1974 and 1989. It's zone M3 heavy manufacturing. Land area is 149,456 square feet. Plan area is 51,251. Leasable area is 48,379. And the land to building ratio is 3.623. Because of the uniqueness of this property, we have this valued on the cost approach. On page 2, you can see some pictures of the office that we have for this. There's 2 components of it. So there's the office, and then there's the grain elevator aspect of it. And the top of page 3 shows where it's located at. So it's a part of like St. Boniface Industrial Park area, high visibility in terms of, you can see it from Genodier, easy access from Maginot. And the bottom of page 3 just shows another picture of the subject property. Very similar. As stated before, we've done this value on the cost approach. So our depreciated cost approach for this property is $808,000. And we have land value of $1,196,000, which works out to $10.01 a square foot. There's a sworn value of this property that occurred in July 8th of 2014 for $1,994,200. Page 5 shows some of the details with regards to the different buildings and what we've attributed to what aspect of the building. You can see that the buildings vary between 74 and 89. And you can see what we have for the replacement cost new for them. Page 5 and 6 have some more details with regards to what we used here. Majority of the value, well, almost half the value is based on land, so this is what we have for comparables here. So first comparable I have is on 48 Spears, which is most similar to the subject property. It sold in November of 2016 of 10,601 square feet. Worked out to $10.14 a square foot on that sale. Comparable 2 is on 302 Archibald. It's 14,323 square feet. Sold in May of 2017 for $150,000. Worked out to $10.47 a square foot. You can see some additional pictures on page 8 with regards to where the 4850 Spears is located at in 2018. And what I showed here between 1 and 4 is I showed that it was vacated land in 2014 when this, how it looked like, and then what it looks in 2018, how they redeveloped it. Comparable 2 is 302 Archibald. Where it's located at is just southwest of the corner of Pliquet and Archibald. Comparable 3 is on Desmirons, 18,223 square feet. Also zoned manufacturing. Sold for $200,000 at $10.98 a square foot. And you can see comparable 3, how it's The developmental potential for that is quite limited because it's long and narrow. And comparable number 4 is 1099 Dougal Avenue, 238,000 square feet. It sold in December of 2014 for $237,500, which works out to $11.74 a square foot. Far away from the reference period of April 1st, 2018. And comparable number 5 is also on Spears Road, similar to the subject property in terms of zoning. Square footage is 142,000 square feet. M2 zoning rail line. It's sold in June of 2016 for $1.3 million. And it worked out to $9.11 a square foot. And comparable 5 is a picture of it where its location on page 10. That concludes my formal presentation.
Thank you. Mr. Becker.
Okay. So you're using $8, is that what you're using?
That is what we're using, $10.
Okay. Because I look on page 5, it says 8.
Really? Well, I think maybe I did the math wrong. Maybe.
$10 it would be just under 1.5 million.
See, but when I do the math here, 149. Well, you know what? I got my math wrong. I'm sorry. It's $8.
All right.
We're all under the gun here.
Well, that's all right. Okay, other than comparable number 5,
Yeah.
the other ones really don't mean anything to the subject based on size and age of sale, correct?
Yeah, well, just showing the trends in the neighborhood, though, right? In terms of like what some properties have sold for. They are much smaller, you know.
Like, they're less than 10%.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. All right, and number 5, that one has frontage on Maginot and on Spears, correct?
Yep.
And at the time of the sale, it was vacant land?
Yep.
You show 2 different parcels in there, and I'm not sure what that red line is for.
Well, there was a replot.
So was the sale for all of it or for part of it?
For just part of it.
So what is the 149,000 square feet?
The 149,000 square feet.
Well, I mean, the area that you have there, is that for all of that, or is that for part of it?
650. Let me just get the glasses here. It's just for a part of it, because then there's the replot afterwards, right? So if it goes 6,600. So what happens here is that roll number doesn't exist here right now. So the sale was just for the part of it right here.
What part is
For the
that?
part where all the cars are,
The top part.
the top part.
Okay. Did they own the other parcel already?
Yeah, I don't know the details of that. But all I know is that it got combined, and then the roll number doesn't exist where it initially sold.
Okay, I have no further questions. Oh, one other, sorry. For the subject, there'd be considerable demolition costs to sell the vacant land, correct?
That is correct.
That's all the questions.
Thank you. Linda?
I have no further questions.
And I have no questions.
Okay, if I could ask the board to turn to page 5. Now the building's done on the cost approach, and I didn't have what the cost, what the assessment was for the building and the breakdown between the buildings and the land. So what I assumed was that the building was in at $954,000 and that the rest of the value was attributed to the land. So I'm still keeping my number the way it is, but what I'm suggesting is that if you look at the bottom of page 5, that the land's going to be $747,000 and the building at $954,000 for an overall value of $1,701,000. It would be less if I used the actual building value, which is just over 800,000, but I'm going to stick to the 1,000,007. And I have 6 sales, and they range from 2015 to 2017, with the newest sale being number 1, September of 2017, for 119,728 square feet. It's zoned M2, and it sold for $4.18 a square foot. And a picture of that one is at the top of page 9. This has been developed with an industrial building. That sale was in September 2017. The next one is on Foster. This is outside the area. This is what was called Ward 3 of Winnipeg, off of Narren and Foster. It's an oddly shaped lot, but it has good frontage on Foster. That one sold in October of 17 for $6 a square foot, and it's zoned M2 as well. The next one at the top of page 10. This is on Mission. This 128,232 square feet, sold in February of 16 for $4.03 a square foot, and that's zoned M3. The next one, number 4, is, you've seen this before, this is the one on Easterbrook, and you can see it's now it's like a compound for trucks, and that one sold in July of 15 for $3.16 a square foot, and it's zoned M2. The next one is on Spears. Now, I didn't realize that there was a replot, etc. But based on what I had 965, and I don't know what went on with that one. But if you look at the photo I have at the top of page 10, it's a little bit different. You can see it's all been redeveloped now with warehousing and trucking. It's not, I'm not sure what it was before. This is just down from the subject, but it has large frontage on Maginot and on Spears, and it's just a better, well laid out parcel. Then the last one is on Camille Sis, which is close to the subject. It's in the St. Barnabas Industrial Park. It's larger than the subject. It's sold in July of 17 for $4.02 a square foot, and it's only M2. So other than the higher sale for Spears, mine range between around the $4 to $6 range. They're all zoned M2, and except number 3, which is M3, and I'm suggesting a value of $5 a square foot. Adding that, that's $747,000 rounded. Added to my building estimated value, I come in at $1,701,000, and that's my presentation.
Thank you. Mr. Foley?
Out of your 6 comparables, how come you haven't put the most weight on the sale for 29 Spears, considering it's only like essentially 2 properties away from the subject property?
Basically the shape and the front and the frontage on 2 streets, the exposure. I just feel it's a much better site. And because there was a merge, etc., I don't know what was involved. If the owner owned both lots at one time or what, I don't know.
So, and not factoring inflation, you're looking actually at a 40% value less than what the sale price was in June of 2016.
Yes. Again, the rest of my sales, other than the one on Foster, are in the St. Barnabas industrial area. They're all ranged from, most of them were in 2017, close to the reference date, and they're in that $4 to $6 range.
Yeah, well, and
So that's like an anomaly, and because there was a replot there, etc., I don't know what was involved in that sale.
Yeah, but the Spears properties are superior to the other comparables that you'd use there.
Why would you say that?
Just because of the location and easy access off Lagimodier.
But all of these are industrial parks.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that, Mr. Falk, if it's what you're asking.
So have property values, so you're recommending a value of $1,701,000. So since the sale in 2014, you're suggesting that the property's gone down $300,000 in value?
I never even considered the sale. This is what I'm saying would be worth it, April of 18.
Okay, no other questions?
Thank you. Linda?
So this, the subject land is zoned M3. Most of your comparables are M2.
Yes, the only M3 I have is the one on Mission.
would you consider M3's land, zoned M3 land to be more valuable because you can have a greater range of development on it?
It would have a bit more value to it, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
And I have no questions. Well, gentlemen, that concludes the hearing for today. Thank you.